Hey there, guys. We've got news for Global on August 15th, and this will probably be our second to last video about new content for the week. We'll still have more videos to do. We'll definitely have more to talk about at the end of the month. But for now, let's talk about this week's content. So, Azure and Crimson Blades Roose is our new unit. And once again, this will probably be the last unit from a banner that you pull for. Kind of a strange choice to choose Roose as the unit to close it up. But yeah, Azure and Crimson Blade Roose. This was not the greatest unit in JP. He is water and earth element. Standing alone, he's a good unit. It's just that, for one thing, earth element, what a joke. And then water. Water is viable right now. It's not really the meta, but it's certainly usable. And Roose does make it better, I guess. He's got a 70% amplify for water, field, that is. The issue is he doesn't have a good water amp for himself. He's kind of going backwards in progress. He's only 100% amplify at a maximum. But that being said, his damage is still okay. And he's not getting any global upgrades. I was, honestly speaking, quite surprised to see that. So no upgrades whatsoever. And his banner has no special perks. There's no special vision card. Really nothing. It's just okay. But there it is. So, like I said, the unit is a true dual wielder. He's locked to water element for his LB. He's got a power-up skill that can do, non-water damage. I think earth damage. I'm not even sure if it's locked to earth or not. Let's look really briefly. Where is it? Oh, it looks like it's not locked to earth. I guess technically speaking, he could do other elements too. Okay, that's that's convenient. But yeah, whatever. So yeah, his vision card is nothing special. He doesn't have a special vision card on his banner. His TMR and STMR are kind of whatever. It's just there. Yeah, I don't know. He does a 70% amplify field to water and earth. He also does AoE 100 amplify to water and earth for the party, but that's kind of it. And if you look at his damage right here, like I said, it is okay. It's not great. He's only got 100 amplify for himself. Doesn't have a 150 like the cool kids. But yeah, and his weapon apparel is pretty bad as well. So there is Roose. I'm just blown away they choose him to be the last banner. But there's Roose. There it is. If you want him, by all means, have fun pulling for him. The other thing of the week is something pretty exciting. The advent of Purgatory Rush. So this was released with the anniversary in JP, so they're bringing it over to Global. And it's a little bit kind of funny because this is a combination of Grace of Thunder, I think Fire, Grace of Thunder, Fire, and Water. And Global skipped the Grace of Water trial. So we never got the Grace of Water with Siren, Kokoryu, and Leviathan. Now, they're, of course, going to be in this Purgatory Rush, because they kind of have to be, because it is part of the event. But it's just really funny that, we skipped the original trial, and we're getting it in the Rush form instead. So 9-wave battle. There's also smaller battles. There's a small battle with only the first boss of all 3 waves, which would be Kilma, the little tank thing from the Grace of Thunder, and Siren. You'll fight those. There's another stage with only the second bosses, which would be Tato, the little gate thing, and Kokoryu. Then there's another stage, standalone stage, with only the 3 final bosses, which would be Omega, Chaotic Darkness, and Leviathan. And then there's the finale, which is the rush form, where you're doing all 9 of them at the same, in a row. not at the same time. It goes first, second, third boss. And then for that one, you've got 40 turns, 30 turns, and then no KOs for your missions. And I'll just be honest here. I have still not done the 30-turn clear in JP. Not that I probably can't. I'm sure at this point I could. When it came out, I tried it, and I kind of failed it. I've got a video on my channel of me doing this in the JP server, and we kind of went in a little bit unprepared, and we kind of bungled our way through it. And I just didn't go back because I still got it in 40 turns. I just never did the 30 turn in JP, and I've never gone back to it. I probably could at this point. But I do have to warn you that these are not the normal Grace Trials. You might be thinking, oh, we can go in and just like turn one kill all these bosses on Global. They've been heavily buffed from their original form. So they have much higher defense, spirit, attack, magic. All their stats are way higher than the original trial version, because this was adjusted for the Neo Plus power creep that came out in JP. So this was tuned around things like, Cloud, Crimson Rain, the new Titus, and all that. It was tuned around the most recent units. So that's kind of cool, though. That's actually pretty cool. It's going to be a challenging content. Unless, of course, Global nerfs it. They may not. I have no idea. But if it comes over exactly as it was in the JP server, it'll be pretty challenging to do, which is, exciting. That being said, we are going to have Global exclusive units, which will, of course, make it much easier. For example, just right off the top of my head, having Wilhelm will make this about 20 times easier because permanent Omni cover. And with permanent Omni cover, you can ignore like 80% of the mechanics here, because a big part of the challenge, especially the Grace of Water trial, a big part of the challenge is a lot of attacks that ignore regular cover, and your party can get really beat up on. If you watch my video from JP, you'll see a big part of the reason we struggled is our team just kept dying a lot, like a whole lot, because they were killing our party, because we don't have permanent Omni cover in JP. So on Global, someone like Wilhelm, or maybe even an older unit like, Chow or something, will make this a lot easier. Also, we've got units like Fundamental Force, which is just a really good, consistent damage dealer. So it'll be something to do this week. I'm pretty excited about this, honestly speaking, even though, all the other stuff going on in the game is very depressing. But I'm excited about this. This is pretty cool to see. Now, according to this, we're only getting, the 500 Lapis. I don't know if we're getting all the rest of the missions, because I'll show you just real quick in JP when this came out. You see right here on the banner, we got 5,000 Lapis for clearing it, and they had these special missions. I didn't translate them for you, but all these special missions, like run it with Guardians, run it with Elite Soldiers, run it with a Fire Party, you run it with a Pure Water Party, you run it with, a Rebellion Party. And all of those special missions gave you a bunch of extra Lapis. So that was pretty cool, all the extra Lapis. I do not know if Global is going to give us all those special missions as well, or if they're just going to toss it in and be like, get your 500, yay, be done. I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, so for this one, you're really going to want some of the more modern damage dealers. Like, probably the best one will just be Fundamental Force, simply because they have very, very consistent damage. They can just put it out nonstop. Some other good units would be like Crimson Rain is just a really good damage dealer as well. Clive, he's a good damage dealer. The issue is his LB does not chain, so you have to have chainers for Clive, which makes it a lot more challenging to have him as your primary damage dealer. But he's a good add-on damage dealer if other people are chaining for you. Wilhelm, honestly speaking, just my initial thoughts, I think Wilhelm will be better as the pure tank and not even worry about damage, because he's going to want lots of resistances. I'll talk about the trial in a second. But, Wilhelm's going to want lots of resistance gear, some spirit gear, so he's probably not going to be doing a lot of damage, but he will definitely be a very valuable team member on the clear. Ethne, again, same problem here, is her normal LB doesn't chain. It's a one-hitter, which is just awkward and a pain in the ass to use on damage per turn content. So yeah. Anyway, as far as, some tips on the trials. So the Grace of Fire and the Grace of Thunder trial, I won't go into too much detail about them because we already have them. They're the exact same trial. The AI is all the same. The only difference is the stats are way higher in the trial. So it's not, you just can't go in and OTK them. I mean, maybe we can on Global. Global has really powerful units, so maybe we can go OTK them even still. On JP, I couldn't. Anyway, so just some really quick tips as a refresher. So Kioma, the first boss on the Grace of Fire, her big thing is she puts Mirage on herself. She puts all kind of statuses on the party. That's kind of it. Tato, his big thing is he does dispels on your party every few turns, and he does counterattacks that bypass normal cover. So you need a lot of bulk, but again, if you've got Wilhelm, you've got permanent Omni cover, so he'll be a joke. The little, you can't see it right here, the little gun thing on the Grace of Thunder, it's, again, I don't even know what it does. It's so easy. The little gate in the back here, the second boss of the Gate of Thunder, or the Trial of Thunder, that one dispels you. He does a lot of fixed damage, but again, if you've got Wilhelm, you just ignore the fixed damage because it doesn't bypass Omni cover. So he'll be either a joke with Wilhelm or pretty challenging without him. Omega dispels you and has Mighty Guard on turn 1. You can burst him on turn 0, but you really don't want to too hard because you don't want to push below 50. I think it's turn 5, maybe 6, that his Omni or his Mighty Guard goes away. And that's part of the reason the turn count is pretty tricky, because the final boss on all of these really delays you. You have to just waste like 5 or 6 turns per boss. Because Omega, like the first 5 turns, he's stuck in Mighty Guard. After that, you can burst him, but you really need to kill him in 2 bursts. Because if you don't kill him after Mighty Guard drops, you have 2 turns to burst him. If you don't kill him in those 2 turns, he reapplies Mighty Guard and heals. Then you're going to have real problems. Chaotic Darkness, kind of the same thing. The first few turns, he has Mighty Guard. And then his Mighty Guard drops, and you have, again, 2 turns to burst him. And if you don't kill him in those 2 turns, I believe his Mighty Guard becomes permanent after that. So you have to kill him in 2 turns. And then let's talk about the Grace of Water Trial. This we've never had on Global, so I'll give you some brief tips. And again, you can watch my video on all this on Thursday. I'll have a video for sure. But this is the Grace of Water that we never got on Global. So let me just give you some tips. So the first boss in Grace of Water, and again, these stats you're seeing here, ignore them, because the bosses on the Purgatory version, the stats are way higher. So ignore these stats. This is just the AI we're talking about. So Siren is a avian or a bird. The big annoyance with Siren is right here. This bewitching song. Every single turn, this stupid skank puts up 5 stack of Mirage. And I'm pretty sure this Mirage cannot be dispelled. Don't quote me on that, but I remember it being immune to dispel. So you have to just burn through a 5 stack of Mirage every single turn you want to hurt this girl. It's such a pain because just like it's action inefficient. Every turn she applies this. She also does, as you can see here, some fixed stuff, water damage, a lot of AoE physical and AoE magical. Yet again, I'm broken record here. If you've got Omni cover, you can ignore all of this and who cares. But yeah, you're going to want your tank to have lots of water and wind resist, as well as more. We'll talk about more of that in a minute. Charms, AoE dispel. Yet again, lots of AoE dispels on this trial. All the bosses AoE dispel. It's a real pain. So keep that in mind, especially with Wilhelm, because Wilhelm's Omni cover is not on demand. You've got to refresh it with his LB. So you really want to keep track of when the dispels are coming. You don't want to get dispelled on the turn that you can't refresh his Omni cover, because then you're going to be in real trouble. AoE stop, etc. So overall, she's not too bad. It's just that 5 stack of Mirage every single turn is obnoxious and irritating. But she's, other than that, not that big a deal. Then the second boss is Kokuryu. He is, once again, pretty irritating. So he's a dragon. His big gimmick is, for one thing, he's got lots of heals and shielding. This 100 million barrier all the time. He AoE dispels you, as you can see here, erasing aura. He's got a 50% heal for himself, 15% heals for himself, so he heals a lot on himself. Again, some attacks that bypass cover, but not Omni cover, that'll be fine. And then he's got Berserk. The Berserk is pretty irritating. It's only single target, but yeah, someone's going to be Berserked relatively often on this fight. Also, he has HP locks with the healing. So I think by memory it's 40%. Oh, 50%. Okay, so 50% HP lock. I think, and 25% as well. Yeah, he's got like HP locks. Again, all these like HP locks and heals and mighty guards, that's why all these bosses take so many turns, which is why this 30 turn clear, it's more like you've got like 12 turns to clear, because you're going to be like 15 to 20 turns are just wasted on waiting out HP locks, healing, mighty guard, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so he's going to HP lock a few times, he's going to heal a few times, he's going to berserk people, he's going to dispel you. He does some damage. Honestly, he's not that threatening. He's just really bulky with the HP locks, the barriers, and the healing. He's kind of challenging to kill. Then you've got the final boss, Leviathan, and he is pretty tricky as well. So he's going to start the fight with this little barrier thing. A water barrier protects Leviathan or whatever. 90% mitigation, cannot be removed. He recast it every single turn. So this is very similar to the 3-star Esper fight. The only way to break that barrier is to spend, as you can see, 3 different turns, meaning 4 turns of hitting the boss with ice damage. So you got to hit him with ice damage every single turn for 4 turns. Then the barrier will shatter. Then he will AoE dispel you. We love AoE dispels. And then he's going to start dealing more damage and change his phase and all that stuff. But then you can start hurting him as well. So yeah, so the first few turns, hit him with ice damage every single turn. Once the barrier shatters, he dispels you, nukes you, etc. But then you can start hurting him. So as far as what he does, again, lots of AoE ice, magic, including lots of stuff that bypasses normal cover, but I don't think it'll bypass Omni cover. He also does things like Petrify, Stop, he removes your resistance, so you gotta have an immunity buff. Of course, AoE Dispel, because we love AoE Dispel, the mitigations from the barrier. And also, HP locks. So once again, more HP locks. So you set up your big burst, you hit him really hard, and then, HP lock. And then his AI is overall not super complicated. It does do a lot of damage. These like non-elemental attacks hit pretty hard. So, especially with Wilhelm, if he's covering all the magic damage, including all the fixed damage, like you're really going to want a bulky Wilhelm. So that's why I'm saying he's probably not going to be dealing that much damage. You're going to probably want to go pretty heavy on the survival. And yeah, like you just really can't burst through these fights. You can't speed through them because all of them have the HP locks, the barriers, the mighty guards. So a glass cannon, like 6 DPS units, and just OTK everything. It won't work. It's not going to work because they have so many HP locks. Of course, I'm saying that, and then some intelligent player will come in and figure out a way to do it anyway, and I'll look silly for saying that. But my prediction is, you're not going to be OTK. Well, you literally can't OTK because they have HP locks. But maybe like a glass cannon team can work. In any case, I don't know. I'm kind of excited about this. We're going to talk a lot more about all the other stuff in the game at the end of the month when, we have, sad days. But for now, we're going to enjoy the content we do have. So, Advent Purgatory Rush. I'm pretty excited about this, assuming Global didn't nerf it. Global does nerf hard content sometimes, but not always. But if it's brought out exactly as it was in JP, it's going to be pretty challenging, and I'm looking forward to it. As far as what should you set your friend unit as, I would say a fundamental force that is immune to statuses. I don't think you need death immunity by memory. I don't remember. Oh, actually, death immunity might be helpful for chaotic darkness. He does death. Okay, so yeah, so you might want to set a fundamental force that is immune to all the ailments, immune to death. I'm pretty sure they're naturally immune to stop and charm. And as far as killers go, you're going to want killers for aqua, bird, dragon, human, and machine. Yeah. Yes. So machine, human, aqua, dragon, bird. And you're going to want to focus on machine and aqua killer. Those are the most important. Make sure she's maxed out on machine and aqua killer, because the final bosses are either machine or aqua. The final boss of both fire and thunder are machines, and the final boss of water is aqua. And then dragon killer for Kokurayu is very helpful as well. Anyway, that's it for the week. Our final content will come next week, and I'm really looking forward to talking about that. But that's a week away. That'll be for the next news video. Okay, see you then.